Right now, my interests are a lot of in music, architecture, sciences such as space travel, the ephemera of space travel, as well as astronomy. The science is very interesting to me. Music does not play a part in my content, I would say, but it is very influential in how the art gets made. Music it makes making art that more enjoyable. Other interests like architecture. I like architects like Frank Lloyd Wright. I look at those artists and see that they take a profession that is really mechanical and they infuse it with life. That's kind of like what I want to do. I want to be able to take something that seems really mundane and everyday and infuse it with some sort of story and some sort of life.
So you told me a lot.
Yeah.
So you told me who inspires you, Frank Lloyd Wright and architects, and well, who else? Who else inspires you, or what else inspires you?
Well, right now I'm looking at some modern artists. Frank Lloyd Wright's kind of really some of the more modern and not contemporary. But I've been looking at artists like Claire Harvey and Matthew Ritchie. Claire Harvey really focuses on a lot with size, things that are small, medium, or large, as well as the materials that she uses. She uses things like cellophane tape, glass, acrylic. She makes these really great tiny drawings, and she can also project them up onto walls and make them really big. Matthew is a painter who paints with the subject being about science, very abstractly showing the things that he loves about science. So he kind of describes the Big Bang or creation in his paintings, and he also uses things like chemistry and that kind of stuff that he's interested, he infuses into his work. So he gives life to painting through what he loves to do. I really don't know what I want to make. I'm still growing as an artist. I think the more and more I make work, I will find out what I want to make. At the moment, I'm really interested in making landscape drawings. One thing I know I like is space travel in itself, going places. And a lot of that plays into that is my dreams, as well as my memories of traveling. My work has to deal with monumental things, landscapes or monuments, places that I want to go, as well as things that I want to see. And I'm taking that and putting it into my work.
Well, is there anything you want to avoid making?
I think making things that are cliche, things that are so obvious. I think a lot of the things in my work, I try to push back those things that seem so obvious. Instant reads in artwork kind of, puts off the viewer. It's a one and done. I really want something that somebody can look at and have a sense of wonder, a sense of awe, or even a sense of interest into looking at it more. It's really great when somebody can stand in front of your painting, your drawing or print for, an hour just sitting there. And I've found myself doing that when I go to museums looking at classical artists, such as the Le Grand Jatte in the Art Institute. It's a really great piece.
So where do you make your work?
I know a lot of people like to have home studios, but I just don't work good at home. I feel that when you're in a work setting like a lab or a studio that's not a part of your home, it kind of means you get down to business. And when I'm in a studio, I get affected by just even looking at the ephemera of how I make my art. A screen or a press or a copper plate, looking at paper or even wood cutting tools makes me want to take them in my hand and make something with them. So I feel that being in a studio setting and away from all the distractions is the best place for me to make work.
So, like, how does that affect your process, and how important is that?
The way it affects my process is that I have several things that I can be doing, and I can move from one to the other very easily. You know, being at home, I don't have access to everything that I need, and being in a studio, everything's kind of there for me to get started from one point to the next without having to stop and start again. Well, which is good. I mean, we all put things down every now and then, but we put them down when we want to, not when we have to. So.
What makes you nervous?
Nervous? I think my biggest fear and what makes me real nervous is failure. I think I know what I want to do, I know what I want to be, but it's the fear of not ever getting there and putting every ounce of love into it. You know, you as an artist, you want to be doing artwork, but if that's not your source of income, then you have to have a source of income that always takes you away. And the stresses from that world kind of affects whether you want to be doing that. You know, you come straight from work to go do artwork. I mean, it is work, it's work that you love to do, but it's still work, and so that can be distracting. So that's one thing I'm afraid of is being taken away from my work, being tired. I want to be constantly on it.
So, tell me about your background.
Well, I grew up in San Antonio, and my dad was an art teacher from the day I was born for about 30 years, and that played a really instrumental role in me becoming an artist myself, because I was surrounded every day by some sort of story that my dad's told me or artwork that I saw. You know, as a kid, he always took me into the classroom when, you know, we didn't have somebody to watch me, and I would see these kids do work, and just his books, the things that he watched, they were all influential in me wanting to become an artist. So that's where I'm coming from. I don't think I'd ever want to be anything else. I know that people want to be doctors and scientists and other things that pay really well, but I want to be an artist because I love it.
So then where do you want to go?
Well, hopefully, you know, I can get my act together and start making a lot of work. And right now, what's stopping me from moving forward so quickly or just moving on is, of course, hesitation and fear. You know, we're all afraid to make that mark because are we going to have to erase it? Can we erase it? Can we take it back? I think one of those fears I have to get over is just do it. You know, I know that sounds cliche, but just do it, make it. Don't worry about messing it up. Like I said, we have to fall on our face. We have to make bad art before we can make something good. We have to know what's bad. We have to know our limits. We have to know where we stray. That way we can move on.
Give me say I'm always